On behalf of the EMA and our Stakeholders and Communication Division, I'm very pleased to add my words of welcome to Isabel and the team and welcome you to this workshop this morning. I think it's clear as we all become more reliant on our mobile devices and our smartphones that communication technology is moving at a very rapid pace. And I think whether we are active users of social media or not, there's really no escaping it. It's being increasingly used not only to pass information, but also for other uses like to build situational awareness, catalyze action and discussion and dialogue between the authorities, organizations and the general public. But why are we here? Well, we're here because social media may impact on how information on medicines and their use is generated, shared and discussed. And however, in order to do that, to better understand this, how social media can be used to provide validated data and amplify the voice of stakeholders, we require additional evidence. And that's why we're so pleased that today this workshop is being convened to discuss the potential for social media, its practical applications, as well as its challenges for regulators, patients, and healthcare professionals. And it's important to add that for EMA, this workshop's very timely because as an organization, we're embracing the evolution of increasing digitalization of data. And you'll hear more about EMA's approach to social media in session 2. But it's clearly an area where we're investing in the future to prove our communication strategy, to learn more about the potential of this very rich data source, and to embed it in our communication strategy. And it's important to highlight perhaps this is one in a series of workshops we're running to look at different aspects related to advances in digital health. And here EMA is very much in the listening and horizon scanning mode. We have an upcoming workshop on the 19th of October on IMI Web Radar. This is a project which you're going to hear a little bit about later on that looks at mobile technologies and social media to further improve the collection and analysis of suspected adverse drug reactions. Then the following month, in November, we're taking a more high-level look at the opportunities that the so-called big data provides, gathering information on the latest developments, but also the multitude of data sources and how they may contribute to medicine product development, authorization, and post-marketing surveillance. But bringing it back to today and what we hope to achieve, on the slide here you have an overview, and recognizing that we may all have different views on social media and how to define it. We're going to kick off with a general overview of social media in relation to health. We'll then move on to sharing healthcare professionals, patients, and regulators' practices on how social media can be used to amplify communication to support regulatory decisions. We'll discuss how social media could be used for gathering medicines-related data, and then we're going to break into 3 different breakout sessions to look at how communication and data gathering through social media may do one of 3 things: influence medicines-related behaviors and attitudes, impact regulatory decisions, and shape our interactions with stakeholders. And then last but not least, we're going to look at the areas and come up with a sort of shopping list of areas where regulators, patients, and healthcare professionals could put further attention to explore further in the future. And I think now that's enough from me. And I'm going to pass over now to David Haerry, who's co-chair of the Patients and Consumers Working Party, to add his opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Since the very early days of the PCWP, communication has been a central issue on our agenda. Package leaflets, CPAR summaries, risk and crisis communication, safety information, new transparency expectations, and legal requirements, to name a few. Most of us encouraged the agency to be brave and scale up in quality, quantity, and diversity of communication tools. In the edition quoted on the resources sent prior to this workshop, The Economist writes, "The fragmentation of news sources has created an atomized world in which lies, rumor, and gossip spread with alarming speed." And I think, especially here in the UK, you have seen a doses of that in the past months. The agency has to act and show presence on these territories itself. This requires developing a strategy and implementing it. EMA needs to face post-truth politics, where field truth seems more important than basis in fact, even more so because regulators' facts are often complicated and not easy to understand or digest. Therefore, I'm very much looking forward to this important workshop.
And I would like to ask Gonzalo Calvo, who is the chair of the Healthcare Professional Working Party, to give his opening remarks. Gonzalo, you can hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So thank you, Isabel and Melanie, and good morning to everyone. I apologize for not being there. I wish I could be there, but hospital issues has impeded me to be there. First, I'm shocked about the sad news about Dean. So my condolence to his family and to the whole group of patients and healthcare professionals that we were so lucky to enjoy his contributions and his way of doing things for so many years. And I am sure that we will never forget him. So now going to the point of today, I think that this is an important meeting. This is not the first. We have a meeting on communication and also to some extent dealing with the use of social media a couple of years ago. And I think this is an excellent initiative of the EMA to start with a series of meetings dealing with the key issue. It's not only important to do things well, but also to learn how to communicate these things. And this has changed dramatically. The paradigm that we were used during the past years, those of us that already have a certain age, everything has dramatically changed. I mean, we were used to go through newspapers, through the TV, then the internet came and websites were an essential part of the communication. And today the paradigm is completely different. You are nobody if you don't use Twitter, if you don't have Facebook, even Instagram. I mean, we need to adapt to this new environment that we have. And I think that even if it is important to gain a political campaign, let's say that for communicating issues that affect the whole society, like is the benefit, risk, and news about drugs is even more important. So definitely we can ignore this reality. We can only take this reality on board and use it to better reach the society in a way that people is aware of what is happening in the medicines environment. Of course, this media has obvious advantages, and immediacy is one of them. You reach a huge number of people, and there is a kind of reverberation that the news reach in a geometrical manner more and more people, but this immediately implies also some risk, and is that you are losing to some extent the control of what you are communicating in the sense that you are putting the information to the people, and then the people, that's whatever they believe it is really important with this information. So there is a lot to learn. You have today an impressive program, and I'm sure that you will have a fruitful discussion. Unfortunately, I will not be present during the whole discussion, but I'm sure that this will be a real gain for the EMA, I hope, but also for the patients and healthcare professionals organizations in a way that we are able to coordinate on how we can better use these media in order to improve the impact and the communication to the society. Many thanks.